attention. That's why the number that NASA put out earlier, 400,000 people along the coast. Now, I don't know if that number is going to be accurate, but there's quite a few people here right now, and we're just in one small area, so maybe the numbers are true, but either way, there's a ton of attention on this thing, Garrett.
Yeah, what makes this, what to you makes this kind of interesting? What stands out to you about what we're going to see and the role that this plays?
Well, several things, I think. One, the most powerful rocket NASA has ever developed with the help of Boeing and Northrop Grumman and a lot of others. The two rocket boosters that take it so far up, that's 80% of the lift. Then you have the big orange rocket. And a lot of people see that, they'll think it's paint. It's not. It's insulation to keep that fuel the right temperature. And then at the very top, that small section at the top, that's where the astronauts are. And I think this is fascinating. You have 4 people, right? The Orion missions had 3. You have 4 people in that small capsule. Okay, the capsule itself is the size of 2 small minivans. So think about 10 days in space, 4 people in a small minivan. It has a small kitchen there and then a little curtain for the bathroom. They're going to get to know each other very, very well. They already do, but that's a very small space there. And so we've seen, you've heard time and time again, this thing's about 321, 322 feet tall, taller than the Statue of Liberty. Okay, well, that makes some sense, but locally, this is interesting. The eyesore on I-4, right, the Majestic building, it's 319 feet. So when you drive by that building, that's how big this rocket is. It gives you perspective of just how massive this thing is. So it's going to be a huge liftoff. You're going to feel it over large parts of Central Florida, and if the sky's clear, you're going to see it all over the place too. So it's right that people in this area should be excited because, and Garrett, I want to go back in time very quickly. The last time I was here for a launch with this much anticipation was 2011. It was the final launch of the space shuttle. We were out here for the launch, we were out here for the landing. So many people out here, all the excitement, but it was sad too because that was the end of an era. And then there wasn't much after that. And then thankfully, we started having the launches again, but this area was economically depressed. You could buy a condo over here in Titusville for $50,000 because there were no jobs coming here. There was nothing going on here right after 2011. Now, we all know this area is booming. Space companies moving back here. We have this mission now. So it's exciting for so many different reasons. One, the scientific aspect, the exploration aspect, but locally, the business aspect. So there are a lot of reasons that people here should be watching this because it's so much more than just another launch, Garrett.
Yeah, that's a good point. We know how important that this industry is to our region, and we checked in on some of the businesses today that really do seem to be booming with so many people, just tourists as well coming in to watch this. I thought it was interesting you mentioned the close quarters that the crew is going to be kind of strapped into as we watch them getting strapped in right now to the capsule. And that was something that they were asked about when they arrived. They arrived the other day, and they were asked about if they were worried about getting on other people's nerves or having some of the other crew members get on their nerves during this. But they essentially kind of laughed it off, saying, we're more worried about us getting on someone else's nerves, but they've spent so much time together at this point through training. What's another 10 days in a confined space?
Right. Garrett, so I want you to think about this very quickly, okay? If you were to step it off, this entire capsule is probably the size of the studio you're in right now. Now imagine 4 people in your studio with a kitchen and a curtain for a bathroom. That's a little uncomfortable if you ask me. I probably wouldn't go to space for that reason alone. I like my space. But again, you put it in perspective like that, smaller than a normal bedroom, 4 people in that. So yeah, they're giving a lot to science. But on a more serious note, these guys are also groundbreakers because we haven't seen this since the 1970s. People haven't seen this part of the moon. As you've heard so many times, they're going further away than humans have ever gone. So there's a lot of historic moments that are going to happen in this as well. So as far as I'm concerned, there's a lot of kids out here. A lot of kids took the day off school. This is one of those moments. We remember these back in the day when you used to see these kind of moments. The kids of today are seeing this. Maybe it'll generate even more excitement from a scientific front for those guys.
Yeah, that's a good point. Who knows what the future holds with this, the trajectory we're on right now, and a lot of excitement for this and the future moon missions as well. So Fox 35 News anchor John Brown, we appreciate you joining us live from Jetty Park.
And Garrett, we might have to run. I know you got Hannah coming up, and the rain is coming sideways again. So we'll talk to you in just a bit.
All right, John. Sounds like a good time to let him go then.